Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for watching me. Today I am gonna start to talk about the Muslim women or the women in Islam and to introduce her more to you and to be able to know more about her from the right sources, far away from the fakeness of the media. And maybe someone will ask why I'm doing that. I'll tell you just a small verse from Quran so you will know why I'm doing that. God said in Quran, O mankind, indeed, we have created you from male and female and made you peoples and tribes that you may know one another. That you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of God is the most righteous of you. Indeed, God is knowing and acquainted. So that's my reason in this verse. God told us why He created us different peoples and tribes, males and females, to know each other, to have knowledge from each other, to learn from each other. And that's my reason to do these videos about the Muslim women, about the women in Islam, about the women under the Islamic law and her rights and everything about her, to know the right about her from the right source and as I said, far away from the fakeness of the media. Before I go further and talk about the women in Islam, I would like to have a quick review about the women throughout history around the world. I'll start with the Arab women before Islam. What we have to know about the Arab woman before Islam, that she was a slave for men. They considered her as an embarrassment for the family. They might even sell her since she was considered as the man's property. Also, they inherited her to their sons and brothers, and they had something called female infanticide. What's that? That's if the man had a baby girl, he got upset and he will try to kill her or bury her while she was still alive. In some old cultures in Asia, for example, if the man had a baby girl, he would try to sell her, to give her away to anyone he found along the way, or maybe he will try to kill her by strangulation, dumping, or buried in the dirt. If he couldn't do that, so he will try to damage her feet so she will not be able to go out of the house. In some other cultures, both current and in the past, if the husband passes away, it's forbidden for the wife to stay alive. So what they do, that she's burned with her husband. Also, women in some cultures and religions are deprived of the inheritance. Hammurabi also had a law about the women, and he described her as the cattle owned, and if the husband died, her brother owned her automatically. This is under the Hammurabi law. Also, Aristotle said something about the woman, and he described her as uncompleted man, that the nature has left her in the nadir of the ladder of creation. And he also said she's like the slave for the Lord, and the worker for the scientist, and the barbarian for Greek, and man is a higher level above the woman. Roman. Roman also had a law about the women and about the femininity, so they described or considered the femininity as a main cause for the absence of the eligibility. like young age or madness. In some religions, they considered women as evil or origin of evil. In addition, they believe that they have the right to sell or buy hair. And also in some other religions, they believe that if the woman had a baby girl, she will not be clean, or I can say she will be unclean for longer time than if she had a baby boy. They don't consider her as a human, they consider her as a thing. And there are so many religious books describing the women or talking about the women as a thing, not as a human being. Also, some look upon her as filth. In some religions, also, the man is regarded as the victim while the woman is the temptress. In the past, some cultures in Europe gave the right to the husband to sell his wife and didn't consider her as citizen. In 5th century of in Europe, they considered women as free from the soul, survivor of the torment of hell. They are not allowed to conduct financial business without the husband permission. Also, the woman's salary was less than the man's. Even these days, in some countries, still like that. Inheritance in some religions not allowed for women. Why? Because they want the money to stay inside the family if she got married from someone out the family. But if there is no man in the family except this woman, she has to marry within the family, even if she doesn't want this man, or she would get nothing if she didn't marry someone within the family. Now, this is a small review and quick review about the women throughout history around the world. And inshallah, I'll start in the next videos about the women rights in Islam, and I'm gonna talk about the most controversial topics about the women in Islam. And if you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to write it down, and I'll try to read everything and answer everything. And until I have the next videos, I would like to give you a question. If you have time, please answer it under the video in the comments. So the question is, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the phrase Muslim woman? Anything comes to your mind, please write it down, so we might discuss it more and talk about it more in the future videos, inshallah ta'ala. And thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope I give you something new and something good for you. Thank you. Bye bye.